It's finally time to get some Final Fantasy gameplay in Vintage. All right, welcome back, Vintage Gamers, to some actual, factual Final Fantasy gameplay. Finally, on this channel, we actually have some games. I've been doing a bunch of yapping the last 3 days between the free MTGO promo, the NYC tournament report, and then my take on the next ban and restricted announcement. There has been a lot of yapping happening. So, time to get some gameplay. I wasn't super thrilled with my Vivi video. I started off the Final Fantasy format with a Vivi video, and it just didn't really go the way I wanted it to go. It was a combination of like bad matchups, bad drawing, and then like me not being in like the best mood. This is like it's still kind of a performance art. And so if I am not in the zone, then it can, the resulting art will suffer kind of deal. So I think it was kind of mostly on me, just not being in the right headspace. So we're going to try again today, and we're going to go with a tried and tested build of Vivi. And this is going to be a pretty interesting one. This is Grixis Underworld Breach by Crazy Diamond. Crazy Diamond, a pretty prolific brewer inside of the vintage space. So this is a 5-0 list. I'm going to play exactly as is with no changes. I trust Crazy Diamond to have put together a pretty cohesive and working package, and then of course at 5-0'd. And we're gonna get to play with 2 Final Fantasy cards this time, which does make me pretty excited. So you have the Vivi here, who is going to gain +1/+1 counters, deal damage to opponents every time you cast a non-creature spell, and then you can once per turn spend mana equal any combination of blue and red equal to the number of counters on the Vivi. But we also are going to have an additional 3-drop here, which is a lot easier to cast, though we don't actually have any kind of Mana Crypt Soul Ring, so maybe not actually that much easier to cast. In the form of Matoya Archon Elder. I believe this is a Final Fantasy XIV card, so it's something I actually know a little bit about. But this is a human warlock, a 1/4, so a big blocking body. But we have this ability here, whenever you scry or surveil, draw a card. And we have some pretty nice scryers and surveillors in this deck. Of course, we can fetch our surveil land in our Thundering Falls. And then our Preordain is, of course, a scrying 2 and drawing a card. But we also have this very powerful Dragon Rage Channeler here. One of the best 1-drops ever printed. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, surveil 1. So if we have a Dragon Rage Channeler and we have a Matoya, whenever we cast a non-creature spell, we surveil 1. And then whenever we surveil 1, we draw a card. Which sounds extremely exciting. It could be good, could be a little clunky. I'm looking at this deck and I can see some clunkiness, so maybe we'll have to try to avoid that. But we also are playing some fun ones like Narset. We don't see that too much very often anymore. We are, of course, doing the Underworld Breach combo, so Underworld Breach plus Lotus or Lotus Petal, and then combined with Brain Freeze, mill over your deck, and then mill over your opponent's deck and cast Ancestral Recall, targeting them. And then, of course, attacking seems pretty reasonable here with our Dragon Rage Channelers plus Vivi. That could happen too. Got some Lightning Bolts in here. Maybe we can Underworld Breach back some Lightning Bolts and do some attacking damage. Yeah, so mainly blue-red, a small black splash just for Demonic Tutor. I think that makes a lot of sense. Demonic Tutor is just so powerful with Underworld Breach. A lot of times, this Demonic Tutor can be a 1-card combo with Underworld Breach. If you have a very large graveyard already, you could Demonic for Breach, Breach back your Demonic for Brain Freeze over your deck. Okay, like it's pretty good. Vintage is all about attacking actually in 2025. So surprisingly enough, not as much stack battling happening as previous formats. So we're gonna play as is. This is Crazy Diamonds 5-0 with Matoya, Vivi, and Underworld Breach. Looking to win your own pieces of paper power? Join me at the Oklahoma Land Run July 17th through 20th. Where you can find Reserve List Proxy Eternal Magic the Gathering. Friday, Team Trios, Legacy Modern and Vintage, followed by a Saturday Legacy main event for an Ancestral Recall and a Sunday Vintage event for a Mox Pearl. Can't make it to Oklahoma City? I'll be a special guest at the Steel City Spectacular August 14th through 17th in Pittsburgh. This CEDH main event will also feature a Legacy Battle for Duels and a Vintage Battle for a Black Lotus. 15 proxy vintage with a Black Lotus as the main prize. I hope to see you at these amazing Eternal Magic the Gathering events. Let's battle. All right, welcome to round 1 of our Vintage League with Final Fantasy cards. We're going to do a bunch of different Final Fantasy videos in the coming few weeks. Obviously, there is the Oklahoma Land Run coming up soon, so I will have to prepare a serious deck for that tournament. But I expect to play a challenge with the Astrologian's Planisphere. I'd like to do a fun Wednesday night where we do a Tifa attacking thingy. And I also want to skull clamp a cloud at some point. So we have a bunch of things on the docket for the next few weeks. We get to start off here with a nice force hand, and we'll see how it goes. See what kind of deck Crazy Diamond cooked up for us here. I am a little worried about... There's a lot of negations in this deck. Those are not particularly great right now. Looks like our opponent has revealed a Chancellor of the Annex. We do have double force, so if we want to, we could totally throw one in here. All right, 4 cards left in my opponent's hand. Oh, it's a Void Mirror. I guess we just let this go and play with our cantrips and let all our forces go. We could always abrade this Void Mirror if we wanted to later. So I'm going to let this go for now. We probably will if we want to win with Breach combo. I do think I need to throw this probe into the Chancellor. It would get countered by the Void Mirror anyways, but it gets rid of the Chancellor and lets us cast Preordain this turn. I think that's probably correct. Countered. Now, I guess we might be in a little bit of trouble if our opponent follows this up with land Seasoned Engineer, but we'll have to see. Ooh, a Dragon Rage Channeler is pretty interesting, as is another land. I think I want both of these magic cards. We don't have the greatest setup to play this. I mean, maybe we could get rid of the Dragon Rage Channeler. But the Dragon Rage Channeler also at least, like, attacks the initiative. Yeah, I think I'm okay with both of these magic cards. Our hand's a little on the slow side, so if they do a Seasoned Engineer, things could get a little dicey, but... I guess if they play, like, an Archon of Amir, it's a pretty good play. Ooh, my opponent needs to make a white mana to cast this Void Mirror, or it's going to be countered. So what would be the... I did that on Repetition and Instinct, but let's see what Echo Baron is talking about. Ordering the 2 cards, what would be the difference? Trying to think of something that would, like, shuffle my library, perhaps, or maybe Anointed Peacekeeper would be a pretty good reason. So I don't know. Maybe if you're trying to hide the Dragon Rage Channeler, you are more interested in ordering it the other way. But if you're trying to hide your demonic the ability to cast Demonic Tutor through Peacekeeper, then the other way. So there's just pros and cons to each way. Yeah, I think that's reasonable, but I also think there's, like, some serious reasoning to want to hide the Dragon Rage Channeler, right? So a little bit here, a little bit there. Like, because do you want to cast Demonic Tutor this turn, I guess, is the question. Well, if we are casting Demonic Tutor, we are getting Ancestral Recall. It might be better than playing a Dragon Rage Channeler here. The only thing a Dragon Rage Channeler really does by playing first is make our spells better with Surveil and perhaps give us a way to steal the initiative. But Demonic Tutor for Ancestral Recall is pretty good. We could, of course, abrade the Chrome Mox is totally a reasonable play as well. Take them off of white mana. They have shown us they can't go up to Seasoned Engineer. I kind of like it. But there's also the ability here, if they don't draw a Cavern of Souls, we could always hold up an abrade the Void Mirror in response to a threat, and then force the threat. All of these seem very reasonable. I'm interested in... Well, the thing is, abrading the Mox seems nice, but I am worried because we do probably need to remove this Void Mirror to win the game. We don't have to. We can attack with Dragon Rage Channelers and stuff like that, but we probably are going to want to. But we could always Underworld Breach it back. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think all of these things have merit. But if they have a Dungeoneer, like, both of these Abrade lines are covering the Dungeoneer unless they draw a Cavern of Souls, right? All right. No Dungeoneer. Interesting. Oh, very interesting. So they have the land now with no Dungeoneer. I am still going to remove this Void Mirror. It's just going to be a good use of our mana here. And then what we can do is we can go Dragon Rage Channeler, and then we can play Demonic Tutor. Well, I guess we could Demonic Tutor off of this and get Ancestral, but I feel like we would want to maybe go for Underworld Breach. How far are we away from Breach comboing here? Doesn't seem like a bad idea to just go for all the cards here with like Ancestral Recall. It does kind of waste some Dragon Rage Channeler triggers, but I'm not sure. This is not my best style of deck, to be completely honest. I always found myself a little not maybe underprepared is the right word, but I never found that I vibe very well with Breach stuff. Ooh, well, I can't keep that right no matter what. So it's, do I want to put that in my yard? Do I want to have a time? I mean, every card in my yard makes my Underworld Breaches better, but it's a good card to draw to. Maybe we'll keep it on top. I'm not sure. You're probably supposed to put it in your yard because it's like kind of unlikely to be drawn, but I'm not sure. Wow. Okay. Thank you, MTGO. I'm gonna want to keep that one. And then I guess we play this Petal out. No real reason not to. Don't want to get caught underneath another one. And then I definitely like binning this one. I feel like we have enough mana. And so putting an artifact in our yard is going to turn on this Dragon Rage Channeler. And we are set up to Breach kill if we find a Breach. I don't know. Seemed like it all worked out pretty well, but I'm not sure that my plays were the most optimal. Oh, they did draw the Cavern off the top, but they haven't had it played a threat yet. Dragon. Well, can't really force this now. Can't be countered. Does turn off our artifacts, but we have a 3/3 flyer. They have a 3/3 flyer. Pyroblast, not the best here. Let's cast Time Walk pre-combat as a way to make sure that we get value off of our Dragon Rage Channeler. And then we'll attack. We don't have a choice there. That's an interesting one. It'll be pretty decent on the next turn. It's not very good if they block, though. Interesting. I feel like they won't block, though. But I guess maybe they'll block next turn after I play it. So maybe I'll play it. Oh, they're just going to block. Okay. I was not super expecting that to happen. Well, at least we have a dude. Well, a grandma. A warlock. It's a warlock, right? Warlock. Yeah. We can still force non-dragons from this spot, which is pretty good. Do I want to force an Archon of Emeria? I don't particularly care that much about an Archon of Emeria. But I also don't really want it in play either. This might be too aggressive of a force, but I'm going to do it. I do need to find another thing here for my... That works, right? So now what I can do is I can play a fetch land, and my fetch land can go get a Thundering Falls. And my Thundering Falls can surveil this island away, and then that draws me a card. Not bad. Not a great. I do have a lot of cards for what it looks like the PO metagame. I have to imagine that our mono-white matchup is not particularly great. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponent control enter tapped. Okay. Haven't seen a big Thalia in a while. Shattering Spree. It's not great. I could save it for another Void Mirror if there were more Void Mirrors. It does maybe force them to use Ancient Tomb if they draw Seasoned Dungeoneer. I might want to hold it for if I draw another Dragon Rage Channeler, I can trigger Surveil. I think I'm going to hold on to it. I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're not really close to like casting a Chancellor either. Maybe I was like a little too aggressive with my forcing in this game. Another Archon. Right. I'm pretty worried. Because now Underworld Breach is not very good. Because I can't cast a spell after it. And I am getting attacked. My opponent has drawn not very many lands. And they have played a lot of creatures. We've already used our Ancestral Recall. I wonder if we were not supposed to bin the Black Lotus so that our Dragon Rage Channeler wouldn't attack into an oncoming 3/3 flyer. That seems unlikely. But we have a lot of time here. We have a lot of Preordains in our deck. If we draw a Preordain, it draws us up 2 cards, which would be pretty sweet. I drew another fetch land. I think now I will shatter this Chrome Mox because I only get to cast 1 spell a turn any... Oh, wait. I guess now I'd have to use this Lotus to cast Force. I guess I could pitch cast Force, too. Probably fine. Yeah. I'm not too sad about NYC. I don't think I made, like, extreme errors. So, sometimes that's magic. I mean, I should just pitch cast this, right? Save my pedal, because I can't use this Flusterstorm for anything in the main anyways. Assuming they're, like, an Echo Baron list with Void Mirror. All right, slowly taking 2 each turn while we try to find... That's probably our best card. Let's get that in play. Does enter tapped. So that's my 1 spell. On their turn, I can Pyroblast nothing to draw a card. Surely they'll draw a land at some point, right? Not a creature? That's it. Now they can double block. See if they're willing to do that. They are willing to do that. All right, so I'm trying to find one of my lightning bolts. So let's cast Pyroblast and target this Archon of Emeria. We'll Surveil. And we'll definitely bin that. And then we'll draw a card with our Archon. I guess we should probably have fetched before that. Do I want to go to 10, though? But I kind of want to have as much mana as I can have, right? Maybe it's a little greedy. Lightning Bolt. Oh, we found it. Wow, what a complete and utter blowout this is going to be. That is unfortunate for my opponent. But the combination of Surveil Draw really got us there. I will keep that one on top. That one seems pretty good. And I can play it because all the Archons are gone now. I feel pretty good about this. Interesting game. Thank you, opponent, for registering a not Dredge deck so I could play a fun and interesting match in my round 1 of this league. Much appreciated. All right. Oh, I drew another fetch. I am out of fetchables after I fetch, huh? Well, I guess I should probably fetch so I don't end up with 2 dead fetches. It's kind of sad. Yeah, I guess you're getting in there, Dragon Rage Channeler. This card's really impressive. The Dragon Rage Channeler, it never really kicked off in Vintage very well. But it was clearly one of the most powerful cards in Legacy, at least for a little while. And it's probably coming back around. Here's a new dragon. Just fetch. This dragon does trade with our Dragon Rage Channeler, and we don't really have a choice in the matter. Unless we find another Lightning Bolt, or an Underworld Breach just wins on the spot. Gush is fantastic. I would absolutely love a Gush. Let's Gush back my Surveil land that I can then use to draw more cards. Brain Freeze. That can go in the bin. Draw a card. Preordain. Draw 2 cards. So do we lead with Thundering Falls here? I don't see why we wouldn't. Bin that land. Don't need that. Draw a card. Dragon Rage Channeler. Cast Dragon Rage Channeler. Cast Preordain. Holy moly. We can bin that one. We can draw a card. We can keep that one. Draw a card. Then we can scry 2. Urza Saga Sapphire. Can we just bottom these? Underworld Breach. So now we win, yeah? Cast an Underworld Breach. Bin this card. Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay. Let's go. That is really cool. All right. That was sweet. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Let's go. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think the Spellground event was a great success. Seems like everyone had a good time. Well, not everyone, obviously, but like seems like people had a good time. Yeah. I think the Spellgrounds event was awesome. Let's go with Flusterstorms. Do we keep in these negations? I mean, we definitely can take out Pyroblast. Mental Misstep seems a little sus. I guess they could board in swords on us, but I think it's probably fine. Maybe we'll just take out Gataxian Probe. I mean, Gataxian Probe is pretty nice with Dragon Rage Channeler. Narset seems really abysmal here. Let's go with that. So we're gonna do a bunch of removal spells and take out some of our conditional anti-blue cards. All right, all right, all right. Woo! I got a destroy target white creature. Ancestral negation. It's a nice looking hand. I'm really happy that the Spellgrounds event went well. It seemed like for the most part there was a good number of people playing. Obviously there were some downtimes where there were like less people playing. But there was like upwards of like 300 people in queue for a little while. Seemed like people had a good time. I'm gonna talk to Tony and see if he's willing to share how the balance went. I'd like to know if the gauntlet was, most part stock lists for the most part. I made some tweaks to the gauntlet to try to make it like as balanced as I can for the other decks in the gauntlet. Like I added cages to the shop's deck so that it could play against Oath of Druids better. And then like the mono white deck was a little underpowered because I didn't include Chancellor because I thought that the Chancellor trigger is like a pretty bad feel bad, and it wasn't including the newest Void Mirror tech either. Both of those are a little rough for newer players. But I'm interested to see if they're willing to share with me how the decks fared in terms of balance. That'd be really cool to know. But I had a good time trying to put those lists together for Daybreak. Daybreak basically sent me 6 lists, and I said, I think 2 of these lists are a little bit hard for new players. Let's swap them out for some other things. And then from there, I just tried to make the decks as easy to play as they could be, and then as balanced within the 6 decks as they possibly could be. My opponent mulliganed to 5 here. I'm going to hit this Chrome Mox. It could be a bait, but it's kind of unlikely. I'm just going to get rid of this Merchant Scroll and negate that. Yeah, Ancient Tomb. That might have only hit their only white source, so... I don't see any reason to... I guess my opponent could theoretically have a Mental Misstep, but with Void Mirror, that's pretty unlikely, so... Let's go with that. That's probably true, not me. You probably would force, regardless of hand size, the Chrome Mox, but I don't know. Sometimes I let the Chrome Mox resolve. Like, if it's Chrome Mox Ancient Tomb, then you could counter it, but I guess I don't have a Forcible, I have a Negation, so you probably always just use the Negation. Got Wastelanded here, no big deal. We've got some cantrips and some more lands. We're going to be in a great spot here. I did get rid of the Merchant Scroll. Yeah, I think an Underworld Breach for even just an Ancestral like a Snapcaster Mage would be fine. I'm not actually sure if I'm supposed to probe there, because then I have to pitch Gush, but I do kind of want to know what's going on in the hand. So a white land here would let them start playing cards. Lightning Bolt. I kind of... That's wonderful. I definitely had multiple people tell me that they're going to continue playing Vintage after Spellgrounds, which is the whole point. There was at least a post on Reddit of someone who got to play for the first time and said they're going to buy into Vintage after playing Spellgrounds. So, like, I am really happy about that aspect. I think it worked wonders. Am I supposed to cast Underworld Breach here and Ancestral? 1 card, 2 cards. I would overdraw slightly. I guess I don't have Lurrus to bring back my Breach. I kind of want to wait another turn, but if they draw nothing, then what am I doing? I kind of want to just cast this. I'm not sure if this is correct, but it can't be bad. I love to hear it. Top 4 2 challenges and got hooked on Dredge after 6 weeks. That's great to hear. I'll keep this probe in my yard. I did overdraw here, but I actually was a Black Lotus away from winning. Let's just discard this Brain Freeze to hand size, and then the next Underworld Breach can be lethal if we have a Lotus. I hit a Mox, but not an on-color one. We hit our land drop here, so we get to go land, and then we can play a Matoya, and then we can cast Preordain. Our opponent's, Mono White Initiative is a deck that... I think I just want both of these, right? I don't think it matters what I choose to do from this spot. I guess I get both of them right away. Yeah, okay, there you go. Definitely doesn't matter what I choose to do. But yeah. All right, won the match. I think our deck was working not at peak efficiency there, but pretty close. So that was nice. Okay, all right, here we go. Boom. I don't really understand what's going on. All right, Lurrus. I keep having to argue with people about Dredge being a competitive deck. Why do I have to do that? Why am I using the Oni avatar? I don't know. It looks kind of cool. It looks kind of weird. Why not? I'm on the Daybreak account because I don't own a Vivi yet. So opponent is hyped in chat, which is great. I wouldn't say Dredge is really good. I would say Dredge is a passable deck right now. But it's certainly not bad. Which is the thing I apparently have to continue arguing about. We need to make a new command for BNR. BR. Someone craft that for me while we do it. I got a new video out today where I yap for about an hour. I'm pretty worried about getting wastelanded here, so I'm gonna go with a basic island. Oh, my opponent did tell me they were on Esper PO after that, but that's okay. I should play this Lotus Petal before my opponent turn 1 Lavinia's me. Well, I kind of want to have this Lotus Petal to trigger my Dragon Rage Channeler, so probably have to risk it. But yeah, if you like listening to people yap about banner restrictions, which is apparently most of the Magic community, I personally like to play Magic more than I like to talk about banner restrictions, but some people, not true. Then I put up a video today, and I think it's quite good. So, Time Walk, Mana Crypt. That's probably an issue. If I go to my channel, I do this, I grab this. Whoop, 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 whoop. I like putting that clip in the front of the video. It's always fun to me. Adcom. Bans. Boom. Ancestral Recall, no Flusterstorm backup. That seems like a force of will to me. I think I'm going to pitch this Matoya. could wait. I'm gonna pitch the Matoya. She costs 3. Vivisection. True. Hmm? Wait. My opponent just said they're playing Esper PO, and then there's a volcanic island. I think maybe they meant four color PO. That's pretty funny. Stock up. Man, there's just so many spells you have to counter from this deck. It's crazy. It's so good. You think right now people are playing a ton of Graveyard Hate? I think Graveyard Hate is probably at the lowest it's ever been since I started playing Vintage. It's interesting. There were times where you had to play 10 pieces of Graveyard Hate in your sideboard. Like, Dredge was the best deck on Magic Online for about a whole year. It was upwards of 57% win rate. It was winning basically every tournament until Golgari Graveshow got restricted, and people were playing like 10 pieces of Graveyard Hate in the sideboard. I think it's very interesting to talk to... Ooh. Do I want that? I guess I do want that. Man, I'm just not progressing this game, though. Like, if I have to force this stock up, I'm just so far behind, aren't I? But I can, like, hardcast a negation follow-up. I don't know. I think it's like, what I was saying was it's interesting for people talking to people who are newer to the format. And depending on where they entered the format, they have different ideas of like what is acceptable. Because I entered the format a little bit after Workshop was at its all-time best, where Workshop was 30% of the metagame with a 60% win rate, the best deck in the format by far. And then I played in metagames where, you know, Tinker Citadel was by far the best deck to a broken degree, and I played in metagames where Dredge was by far the best deck to a broken degree. And when people enter the format, they don't always have that prior knowledge about like where things were, you know? Oh yeah, there was a whole year where Dredge was by far the best deck in the format. Ooh, that is really bad for me. I don't know how I'm going to win this game without top decking Ancestral Recall. I made a mistake in keeping this negation on top. That was a bad play. I needed to bin it and try to find action, because now I'm just so far behind. Like, my opponent doesn't even have to do anything. They can just make constructs. They can make Lurrus. I guess I can't play Lurrus yet, but... Yeah, see, like... Shops players will be like, everyone misses 4 Lodestone, when it's like, literally no one misses 4 Lodestone. Yeah, the mono white deck is particularly bad against Dredge, and one of the reasons the mono white deck has so many Dredge cards in the sideboard is because it doesn't really have that many tools to interact with the other cards of the format. Jesus. Okay. I mean, I guess this is good for me. That card does not look good enough. I need a card that does something. I don't really think I played this game very well, but my opponent has been slamming haymakers at me. Mentor died for Gush's sins. Probably a little bit. I have a Gush in my deck. I think I'm dead, by the way. This deck is really brutal when I don't have any Pyroblast drawn. When you're like 2-for-1ing yourself to counter stock ups, it's really a... Wait, my opponent is at 5 life? Maybe we have a chance. No, Mono Red Prison is not a good vintage deck. But Mono Red Prison is one of the better powerless decks you can play at Eternal Weekend. So my opponent has a Lurrus. I guess the Lurrus life gains, and then it's not enough. Wait, I guess I could attack and win 1 mana crit flip if they have no POs. I mean, they have to have no POs, by the way. Just 0 POs. Seems unlikely. It's a PO for sure. All right. Well, we died. I'm just going to concede. I don't think it's worth playing out. I'm going to go to game 2, and I'm going to bring in more Pyroblasts. I actually think I'm going to bring in Shattering Sprees and a Shattering Spree. I think attacking the mana might be the way to beat PO instead of attack. No, historically, you beat PO by attacking its payoffs because it had so few payoffs. But now it has so many payoff spells that I think you have to go about it in a different way. You still need to be able to counter their payoff spells, don't get me wrong, but I think the heuristics have changed, is how I would put it. So let's take out Bolt Island and keep in this suite here. We'll leave the Abrade in as an answer to Lurrus. That also hits mana. And then run like this. Seems reasonable. It's interesting though, because the PO deck was way overplayed at NYC, but it didn't do badly. So it's hard to say it was overplayed, but like, I still think the best deck to have shown up to NYC with was Esper Lurrus. I think the Esper Lurrus deck now tuned to the knowledge of what PO is just can beat it. There's an Esper card from Final Fantasy Commander Spicy with PO. That's a 4-mana card, right? I can't remember exactly what that card does, but 4-mana cards are really tough to play in Vintage. I can't remember exactly. Card. Oh, it's a 3-mana Wub card. That's almost a 4-mana card. It's actually probably harder to cast than like 3 and a blue. This hand seems fine. My deck is so fair. It's so fair. I don't know. I don't know how to approach this. Like, we have these Pyroblasts. I guess that's what we need to find. We need to find something. They kept in Swords for the Dragon Rage Channeler. And oh wait, there's a mana drain in this deck. Huh? Huh? All right, we're gaming. I kind of want to surveil into like a Pyro here, maybe. Cool. I guess there's no reason not to hold this up. The thing is, if they hold up Mana Drain with Force Mana Drain back up, I guess I can't cast a 3-drop here, but I need to find a 4th land, I guess. So I guess I won't crack. Shattering Spree. They have no Moxen. Classic, absolute classic. Okay, a tap land. Tundra's gone. They didn't use their Lorien reveal to find a land, and they kept this card on top. I need to hit a land here, I guess, or a Moxen. Okay, there's a land, so I'm definitely into the idea of playing a Narset before they get Thunder Trap Trainer going, so let's go with Underground Sea and cast Narset. And then 2 unknowns. They're going to start with Force. Interesting. I feel like, oh, they forced pitching Thunder Trap Trainer. That's actually really good for me. Pyroblast this. And then do you mana drain this Narset? They do. I like how this trade went for me. I'm going to force pitching negation. Getting pretty close to casting this dig. All right, and now there's no Thunder Trap Trainer to attack the Narset. Force Breach Pyro Ruby. Interesting. Wait, chat. Do I say interesting too much? Be honest with me. Because I was watching some of the coverage, and someone in the NYSE coverage chat was like, this caster says the word interesting 10 times in a sentence. I'm like, oh man, do I really? Take breach. But what does breach do? I do talk a lot. I actually think it's one of my problems in doing a cast is I cast too much like I stream, and I stream with a very heavy emphasis on stream of conscious and like maximizing no downtime in what I'm talking about. So I do think that's actually a downside when it comes to like going back and forth with a co-caster. Something I've always been thinking about, but I don't do enough casting to like work on it. I kind of like just taking a Pyroblast here. I'm gonna try taking a Pyroblast. I like that part. You talk a lot overall, and that's an absolutely true statement. That is a factually accurate statement. I cannot stop talking. That's a good card to cast here. It's really funny because you know how Bosch and Roll and Thraben and Bryant, you know, their videos are really quick and there's a lot of downtime cut out, right? So for those videos, they use like an algorithm or an add-on or a script or something that cuts out dead air. And so I asked and I tried to use that algorithm on my videos. And you know what happened? It freaking didn't do anything. Because I never shut up. There's no downtime of me not saying anything. Which is pretty funny, which I think is good for a live stream. I think it makes sense when you're doing off stream recording to like stop talking, cut out downtime. But for a live stream, you want to just continually be talking. So they found a Pyroblast off the stock ups, played land Pyroblast, and killed my Narset. Okay, fair enough. B Ling, first message. I wouldn't be in the stream if you didn't talk as much as you did. Based first message. Do we have the 7TV emote for first message? Based first message. First time chatter. There you go. We should get some 7TV culture going in here. It's not my forte, to be clear, but it's the hip and fun Twitch chatting. I'm gonna leave Probe in my yard. Oh, maybe I should leave. Yeah, I have another Pyroblast. I'm gonna leave Probe in my yard as like an easy card I could maybe use to breach later. This plays into like a possible negation, but I have the Pyroblast backup. I'd rather get like a Vivi. Ooh, a Vivi. What do we want on this one, chat? Dig through time. 7 cards, all non-lands. Wow. We could take Matoya Elder. But they have a Swords to Plowshares, right? So I could take Misstep for their Swords to Plowshares. So what if I go Vivi Misstep? I don't really need mana, right? So maybe I go Matoya Misstep. I don't know. I feel like we have to take Misstep if we take creatures, right? I mean, we could just take Preordain, to be fair. I just like, if I take Vivi, right? What does it do? Kind of nothing. I think I'm going to take Misstep Dragon Rage Channeler. I probably should order those, actually. Because if I misstep with a Dragon Rage Channeler, it's kind of like preordaining, right? This game 1. This is game 2. Or I got my butt kicked in game 1. I guess that's fine. That's true. Ordering them might not matter if Saga makes it through. It was really funny watching people play Paper PO because Thunder Trap Trainer is random order on the bottom and Stock Up is any order on the bottom. And I was watching people just like mix them up. All right, so they found a Mana Vault. Ooh. I guess I can shatter this next turn. But they can cast, I guess if they cast Lorien, it's pretty bad for them because they know I have a Pyroblast. Second Dragon Rage Channeler. Yeah, I kind of think that's acceptable. So I kill this, and then I can still Pyroblast. I make Construct. Well, maybe I won't be able to make Constructs if I do too many things here. I guess I'm not going to be able to make too many Constructs. Well, if I don't use my Pyroblast. All right, I'm going to Shattering Spree that. Oh, I mean, I want a Preordain. But I kind of want to put spell. I mean, I kind of want to put more cards in my yard. This will be a land and enchantment, so I guess I don't need to put cards in my yard. So I might as well take the Preordain then. All right, so my opponent is untapping with 4 mana, a Lurrus, no Lurrus in hand yet, and a Lorien and 2 unknowns. That's their 5th land. Are they going to hardcast Lorien into my known Pyroblast? Sounds unlikely. But hardcasting Lorien into no Pyroblast does mean I don't get a construct token. Black mana, blue mana, white mana, blue mana, red mana. Lorien revealed? Oh. That's pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna take a Bajillion. I don't. Oh no, these things have to attack. Oh no, that's so bad for me. I guess I can block, and I don't die, right? So. Because this is an enchantment and a land immediately turns those on. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Well, I know the top card is Preordain, so we can't hit Delirium. So, like, if I was playing around 4th Airlingas, I would have bottomed graveyarded the Preordain, but we knew we couldn't hit Delirium, so I definitely don't want any of those cards. Definitely don't want any of those cards. Vivi. No, you're good. This sucks for me, though, because I can't play Vivi. I guess I can play Vivi. I can't hold open Pyro if I play Vivi. I have 2 blockers here, which means I can only take 3. So it's probably fine. I probably just supposed to hold a Pyro, right? Okay. This is a close game now. I really think that this 4th Airlingus card is pretty... Oh, wow. This Matoya might just go off next turn, though. I really like the 4th Airlingus in the deck now. I was like, well, Time Vault, 4th Airlingus, which one's better? I'm pretty much hoping my opponent just hard casts a Lorien here, but again, they still know about my Pyroblast, so. But their attack is not very good. They get for 3, but they might die on the swing back if they attack all, actually, because we have Constructs and Flyers, lethal damage, Mana Crypt, 1 unknown in hand, buy Lurrus. Nothing to buy back with Lurrus, right? Just a Mana Vault. Oh, maybe they can... Oh, they can play Lurrus and then buy back Mana Vault and cast Lorien revealed. Cool. Definitely countering this, right? Like, I could wait to make sure I get Surveils. So if I don't counter this, I get to do some sweet stuff with Surveilling. But then things might not resolve and I might have to counter forces, so just counter this. Oh, right, I can Surveil and find a spell here. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh, yeah, we top that. We top that. We absolutely... Okay, I think we win. See what happens. They're coming in? It's a little sketch. This Vivi might kill them. I guess they're trying to draw. Maybe they're trying to draw a force. Okay, so I will go with blue and red, and I will cast Vivi. If they have a force, they'll counter Vivi, and then we could play Matoya, and maybe that's better. I don't know if that's actually better. And then we'll play Matoya. And then we'll cast Preordain. And we'll, okay, so now I will Dragon Rage Channeler. And I will mill the Brain Freeze, and I'll draw a card. And then I'll Dragon Rage Channeler, and I'll mill the Floated Delta, and I'll draw a card. And then I'll get an extra counter off of Vivi, and then I'll Preordain, and I'll mill this, and I don't actually need this Demonic Tutor. So I guess I'll bottom the Demonic Tutor, and then I'll draw this, scry, draw a card. And now I can fetch and cast Underworld Breach and win. Off of my Vivi mana. Yes, go to my graveyard. Yes. Yes, go to my graveyard. Yes. Yes. Huge. I'm going to cast 8 spells and kill them. Wow, it's so sick. It's so sick. Okay, pretty nice. We cast 2 3-drops. Not bad. I'm having a good time, in case anyone hadn't noticed. All right, we get to go to game 3 now. Same stuff. Different match. Same match, actually. Different game, I guess. I wouldn't say it's good. But if it happens, it's certainly good. So like there's a thing, right? Like effects can be powerful, but also not good. And right now, the synergy and effects of these cards all together, very powerful. Not sure that they're good. Here's a forced double Dragon Rage Channeler Pyroblast hand. I like this hand. Double DRC Matoya without Vivi was probably GG. That's probably true as well. All right. 6 card keep from our opponent. Dragon Rage Channeler is a hell of a Magic card. Don't get it twisted. This card, I'm surprised this card is still in Legacy. Oh, my opponent probed and then passed the turn. Oh, well, here you go. It's just a F6 check, I guess. Surprised that they allow this card in Legacy. Ooh, Mental Misstep is a nice one. I'm going to get the Dragon Rage Channeler in play here. I am a little worried that I won't hit lands, but we'll see. Maybe I can cast some forces and find some lands. This was always the better Modern Horizons red 1-drop too. Don't tell Legacy players I said that. This card is definitely better than Ragavan. Ooh. I think I am going to Preordain and try to hit my land drop. Especially with my opponent missing their land drop. Chat. I am embarrassed by my riches. Surely I can keep this card, right? Surely I'm allowed to keep this card, right? I'm going to keep this card. No one can stop me. I'm going to bin the Preordain. I don't need that. But it doesn't mean I'm not hitting my land drop this turn. I still have Force and Mental Misstep, so it's not like I'm doing nothing. Well, I mean, I am kind of doing nothing, but it's not like I'm vulnerable. All right, my opponent is missing mad land drops here. 7 cards in hand. I just want to see a land. No land. I'm going to cast a Preordain trying to hit a land. I don't want that. Okay, I now need to find the land, please. Okay, there we go, the land. Do I want to play another Dragon Rage Channeler? I think so. I would like to get these both in play before I start like holding up an Ancestral Pyro. You need to take advantage of our mana advantage-ish thing. What's happening here? Aren't you happy now? All right. We'll take it. I think we were very favored in this game, even if my opponent does get to keep going, but cool. Cool. All right, here we go. Round 3 versus Black Dex 99. I hope so. That'd be pretty cool. All right, looks like a reasonable keep. No Lurrus from my opponent, though. It's a really good black card, Lurrus the Dream Den. Uh-oh. Is it you? That would be bad for me, because if it is you, then my hand is not good against Dredge. I can't ever mulligan this in the blind, but yeah, if I get Dredged on the... Oh, my God. All right. We're going to get... mulligan to 3. Mulligan to 3. Hold up. Wait a minute. My opponent is on a mulligan to 3. If they mulligan to 3, can this hand beat Dredge? Probably not. Probably not. I'll give it my best college try here. See what happens. It wouldn't be a vintage league without getting bullied by Dredge at least once. Chalice on 0. I don't think we're letting that happen. All right. So I'm going to get the Surveil land. And then I'm going to get rid of the third land, because I already have a second land for my gush. And then I'm going to go fetch land, Sapphire, Time Walk. I guess I probably should have held the Sapphire for a theoretical Dragon Rage Channeler trigger. Maybe that's true. Oh, I should not have fetched there in case I draw Demonic Tutor. Ah, that was not good. I should have fetched a Demonic Tutor. Oh, I drew the Breach. Okay. So I just gush into the Brain Freeze Black Lotus, win the game? No, I do not just win the game. What I can do is Time Walk. Breach Time Walk. Probably correct. What if we win this game? We're almost at the life total that Creepy Chill kills us. All right, let's go to the next turn here. Can I can't explore a pitch cast, an alternate cast gush, right? No. I cannot do that. All right. I want that card. All right, well, my opponent has 9 Dredge in the yard. Let's see what happens. An Icarid, a Narcomoeba. That's it. That's not too bad for us. 2 Icarids. 2 Chills. So there's 1 Chill left in the deck. This is still winnable. This is still winnable. There's the Underground Sea, but there's a Dig Through Time. Certainly taking this Dig Through Time, right? It's kind of bad with Underworld Breach, but we need to find our combo cards. Would there be any reason not to play this Volcano? I guess we'll play this. I think I would rather have an open mana to cast like a Preordain here. So there's the Brain Freeze. And I guess we take Dragon Rage Channeler and we go for the win next turn, yeah. If we take 3, 6, 7, we do die to the 4th Creeping Chill. But we can't do much about that. I mean, we could. We could take Lightning Bolt, and then we can't die on the next turn. Wow, that's actually kind of an interesting spot then. So if I take Lightning Bolt, I can't die on the next turn. But if I take Dragon Rage Channeler, I have a higher chance of winning. Ruby freeze now for 9. The DRC could chump. Yeah, the DRC could chump too. That's true. So then we can see if we make it to that point, assuming opponent activates an upkeep. That's true. Okay, so let's do Brain Freeze, Dragon Rage Channeler, and go that way. I also think that, yeah, Ruby Brain Freeze for 12 is probably pretty good too, but... Okay. I'm gonna try this one. This one seems more in line with what I was thinking. And I have this Dragon Rage that can technically chump if my opponent hits their 4th Creeping Chill. And we'll know if we have to chump because our opponent will have done all their dredging beforehand. So they did hit their 4th Creeping Chill. Okay. So now we're going to have to get really lucky because our Brain Freeze is going to have to hit like crazy. We could hit a Mox or a... I mean, obviously Lotus wins. Petal wins. I wonder if there's any way we can like Pyroblast and Mental Misstep here. If we draw another land, we could Pyroblast and Mental Misstep before we Brain Freeze. Mox. Great. So we go Mox. I think this is a pretty high chance of winning. We can go Breach. We can go Pyroblast, hold priority, and Mental Misstep it. Go to 1. And then Brain Freeze, target myself. Need to hit a Lotus. Or, oh no, opponent, come back! Hopefully we can see here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we do win this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. So we had 2 hits, really. I mean, there are some other things like, I guess Ruby land. I guess I can't play land off of our Breach. It might just be 2 hits in 15 cards here. And we did hit the one of them, but it got a little dicey there. We snuck a game 1 versus Dredge, and now we get to board in some serious hate pieces here. 8 hate pieces. Let's see. Island. Misstep. Pyro. I mean, we might want to have a Bolt so that we can beat a Chill. Shattering Spree. Negations are terrible. Narset's pretty bad. Probe is usually not very good. It's probably good to have 1 Bolt in our deck. I guess an Abrade deals with a Chalice and a Hollow one, so it might be good to have an Abrade in our deck. Maybe we leave in one of the Bolts, and maybe we leave in Misstep for Noxious. Because Probe, Narset, Negation are all really dead. Shattering Spree is a little too narrow. I don't really like Pyroblast. Correct, you can Dredge through Narset. Alright, let's try this. Maybe I'm supposed to have 2 Abrades instead of one of the Bolts. Ooh, this hand is quite good. My opponent mulled a 6 after 2, mulled a 5. They've been mulliganing a lot here. We don't have force backup for our ley line. powder, and then they kept, and then we have a ley line, and we're off to the races. All right. I'm gonna go with Volcanic Island Preordain because I want to be able to find a force right now before my opponent finds. I don't need this because I have a Merchant Scroll. I think I'd rather keep this land though. If my opponent does find a Vigor, I still have a Lantern follow backup, so no activation, upkeep, no Vigor. Let's just go. I kind of like the idea of just Merchant Scrolling for Force of Will. It's really hard for my... Okay, so they do have Vigor. They didn't want to go in my upkeep, but they wanted to go now. So now, I guess I can't play my Lantern this turn, so that's slightly problematic. But I can just go get an Ancestral Recall, so... See how bad this goes for me. Ghoul, Narcomoeba, Imp. Not the worst. I think I just go for Ancestral here. I mean, I could theoretically just get that Brain Freeze, and that way I'm looking at a Breach kill. Is that worth it? Next turn I can go Channeler, Lantern. Turn after I can go Breach, or I can go Matoya, and I can... Maybe I'm just supposed to take Brain Freeze then. I mean, Ancestral is also great. I'll just go Ancestral. I don't know the answer, but I just want to go Ancestral. All right, let's see how bad this Dredge goes for us here. Natural Dredge 5, returning Narcomoeba, hits Imp, hits Chill, hits Prized Amalgam. So 2 Icarids and a Narcomoeba and an Amalgam are happening now. I am at 16. Oh, how many ghouls? 2 ghouls. It's a lot of ghouls. I kind of have regrets on not taking Brain Freeze now. All right, let's go Dragon Rage Channeler. Ancestral? Not that. That didn't really help. Am I dead? Let's get the Underground Sea. I guess I just wipe this whole yard here. I don't need a force at this point, right? I have a Flusterstorm. I just wipe this whole yard. I have a blocker. And then we just go for something on the next turn. I don't even have to block, right? And go to 10 and keep open Dragon Rage Channeler. All right, they have no cards left. We have a Gush and a Breach and a Matoya. I'll just block this Narcomoeba and go for the win with Dragon Rage Channeler. Alternatively, I could block Amalgam, take 7, and then I could have like a Braid, Preordain. I guess I can Breach back a Lantern, but I'm gonna die from these things if I do that. But like, what's the chance I don't win from this spot with Underworld Breach, Gush, Dragon Rage Channeler? I feel like it's low, right? Oh, I guess how many chills are left? 1, 2, 3. There's 1 chill left, so taking 9 is gonna put me to 6. I'm fine. All right, I'm gonna try to win. They only have 14 cards too. So let's go blue, red, Gush. Surveil a land into the yard. Draw 2. Oh, that's really bad. Breach. Surveil a Mox into the yard. Oh, I don't have the merchant scroll, huh? Oh no, I do have the merchant scroll. So can I make enough mana? I have 3 mana, so I'm short on merchant scroll brain freeze win, right? So maybe I have to. Let's start with getting this Mox. Does 2 Dragon Rage channelers help me? I feel like no. I'm still 3 mana, so I still don't have a brain freeze kill. Did I mess this up somehow? I don't think so. Let's cast Ancestral Recall. Breach number 2. I mean, I have to win the game this turn, right? So just graveyard it. Tabernacle. Huh. Well, that's certainly interesting. I did just bin my other breach. I could play Soul Guide Lantern, Tabernacle. Is that my best line? Or is my best line cast another Ancestral first? Nothing's coming back this turn. They have no Dredgers. I could cast an Ancestral here. But a Lantern's pretty fucking good. Let's go with Lantern. I feel like it shouldn't be losing, right? I will keep the Time Walk on the top of my library. Oh, I did just make my attack not do 3 damage, so I probably messed up there. But I guess I can just not attack, so. They're off it. All right. That was interesting. I'm not convinced that I took the best line. I mean, I feel like it was a good line, right? Keep the Dragon Rage channel around and go for it. Like, we didn't hit, but all we needed to do was find the mana to cast Merchant Scroll and Merchant Scroll for 15, and it would have been good. Yo, GG's. Oh, Winborn, win. In game 1, don't concede there. At least let the Brain Freeze flip over, because if the Brain Freeze didn't hit Petal or Lotus, you would win that game. Like a 50-50 chance, maybe a little bit less. It's probably not good for you, but I did hit Petal in my 15 cards, but there's a pretty reasonable chance you can miss there, so just for future. All right, 3-0. All right, round 4, we're 3-0. We do have Juan across the table here, and I have 5 lands in my hand. My opponent has no Lurrus. I'm going to mulligan this hand. Look for something a little stronger. That is something a little stronger. I'm going to keep this one, and I'm just going to bottom this Dig Through Time. This Flusterstorm might be dead, but the Dig Through Time is certainly not very castable here. Okay, well, I have faced another Dredger. Unfortunate. This one, I mean, this hand's definitely better than my first hand. Has a chance of winning at least, but it's pretty rough into like any pieces of interaction from my opponent's 7-card Dredge Keep. Hollow one. All right. I'd love to find. Yeah, that's a pretty damn good one. I mean, that is quite good. I'm gonna go get a Black Lotus. I don't win the game here because I don't have enough cards in my yard. But what I can do is I can just Black Lotus and Ancestral from this spot, and then I still have Lurrus, Lotus, Demonic stuff later, right? I feel like I'm supposed to do that. Another jet. Force. Surely I have enough cards in my yard now, right? This looks like it might win. I guess I take 4 and go to 15, and then 3 and go to 12. So I'm gonna have to use a lightning bolt loop instead of a brain freeze loop. But that's okay. I mean, it's still a brain freeze loop. I'm gonna brain freeze myself, and then I'm gonna recur lightning bolts from my yard. I hope I have enough. I guess I theoretically could get enough counter magic to be able to counter my spell and do more on the stack after the creeping chills on the stack. We could do that too. Either way, one of those routes. All right, I should have enough cards in my yard, right? Because I have Underworld Breach, Demonic Tutor is 3 cards. I have enough cards, right, chat? Or am I short? It'd be kind of bad if I'm short. 1, 2. I can play Breach and Demonic Tutor, exiling this, this, and this. Am I short? What did I do wrong? Should I have kept the fetch land on top? I cast Underworld Breach. I get rid of Preordain, Ancestral, and Fetch Land to cast Demonic Tutor, leaving Demonic Tutor Lotus, and I can't cast a follow-up? Did I lose? What if I cast Black Lotus first, but I won't have enough cards? I guess I could cast Black Lotus and force my own Black Lotus first. All right, well, let's just get to the point where we're doing that. Let's do Underworld Breach. So if I cast Black Lotus, and then I force my Black Lotus, and I Flusterstorm my Force, that might get me there. Because I get rid of this, and then I need to get 2 more cards in the yard. No, but then I lose my Lotus still, right? Or do I not? I force... Or maybe I can misstep as well. I might need to misstep as well. All right, so, I mean, my opponent can't have any... I mean, my opponent probably doesn't have anything at this point, but... Force this. Pitching this. Flusterstorm this. And misstep this. And then crack for blue. Demonic Tutor exactly the other 3 cards away. I don't feel like I did the right thing here, but well, I mean, I got there. I can't believe it was that hard. I mean, they could have had literally anything. So from this point, my opponent has 23 life, and I just need to cast 8 lightning bolts, which is 24 other cards. I should be able to do that, right? I should be able to lightning bolt my opponent enough times here. If I can't lightning bolt my opponent enough times, what I can do is I can make enough mana where I'm casting them. I can cast a bunch of brain freezes. And what I do is I cast Brain Freeze targeting my opponent, and we go until we hit the second chill. And then with that chill on the stack, I Pyroblast my own... I guess I should have kept a Flusterstorm in my yard. But I Pyroblast my own Brain Freeze, and then I recast my own Brain Freeze. Do I still have Ancestral, though? I don't have Ancestral, so that won't work. So only Lightning Bolts could work from here. So I'm pretty sure I can just go all the way down to 0 cards and just cast enough Lightning Bolts to win. Should be fine. And the reason I can't just like brain freeze my opponent here is because of Creeping Chill. Creeping Chill will trigger off of the brain freeze, and I'm at 6 life. Wow. Okay, that was quite the game one here versus Dredge. I'm gonna try slight different here where the lightning ball and the island and the pyroblast and the shattering spree and the misstep and the probe and the negations all come out. I guess you could theoretically board out the Narset and the dig through time are pretty bad. Whatever. There's like enough bad cards here. It's fine. That's a lot of blue cards out, I guess. It's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't do the math. I'm not gonna lie to you. Clearly, I didn't do the math after I almost wasn't able to combo off there. I think I was supposed to. I mean, if I had instead of taken Force, if I had instead taken Fetch Land, it's the same thing, I guess. Maybe not. We're on the Daybreak account because Vivi is about 50 tickets and I don't want to buy one. Thanks, Daybreak. I appreciate that. All right, what do we have here? We have Needle Lotus, Ancestral Breach, Abrade, Brainstorm. I feel like that's worth trying at least, right? 7-card keep from the opponent. Looks like a Grief. Could be a Chalice. I wouldn't want to see a Chalice. Triple Dredgers, 6/5/5. I wouldn't consider this hand to be great. I think this hand is good, though. How do I make this hand great? What is my sequence here? I guess my sequence here is lead Needle, see what happens, and then go for an Ancestral over the top. It gets Mind Break trapped pretty badly, but definitely want Ancestral before Brainstorm because the Brainstorm is better. I'm just not playing around Mind Break trap. You got me. Yeah. This could have been worse. I guess these cards getting exiled is kind of annoying for my Underworld Breach. All right. I still have a Soul Guide at the end of all this. That Grave Troll. I'm going to hold this Soul Guide Lantern for a better activation. I think I like the way I sequenced it, assuming that I wanted to not play around Mind Break Trap. This is a Creeping Shell. That's not enough. Ooh, they brought in Leyline versus me. That's kind of cool. Probably correct. Do I even have a single answer to Leyline in my entire deck? No. Fantastic. I have a Vivi, baby. 2 Amalgams and an Icarid. We'll probably end up having to crack this Lantern. We are pretty close to winning with this Underworld Breach, though. I'm going to Demonic Tutor for... Brain Freeze? I will have to hit a blue card or a land. I guess we'll see if this resolves first. I think they're out of interaction, though, right? Because they dredged on their turn. So they should have no interaction, I would assume. I assume they have no interaction, right? Because they dredged after not countering anything after. Yeah, so they should have nothing. So it should just be brain freeze and try to win on the next turn here. I'm going to give my opponent the opportunity to mess this up, I guess. They should pass back this to me, and then I have to lantern this. And if they want to activate in response, I think that's fine for me. But at least giving them the chance to respond with this Bazaar on the Icarid activation, I feel like is correct. How can this go badly for me? Like, if they activate here, what's the worst thing that could happen? Oh, they have a Noxious. Okay. I mean, they could have had a Noxious at any point here. I guess the good news is I'm not casting Underworld Breach and they're Noxiousing my Black Lotus. That would be pretty bad for me. So double Bazaars here. Are they just going to go churning and then we just go for the win? They've got one chill in exile, but I can like rebuy my Lantern now, so I'll be in a good spot. They went one activate and stopped. And they binned a revival. I'm a little scared. Hopefully I just draw a land and I have Flusterstorm back up. That is not it. I assume I'm still supposed to go for it though, right? All right. Looks like it's a win then. All right. Big. 2 Dredge victories with this deck is very surprising. We got a couple game ones, didn't we? Oh, they had the Mind Break trap for the Brain Freeze. Unlucky. GG1, GG. Wow. I would not have expected to beat Dredge with this deck twice, so I'll take that. 2-0, 2-0. Welcome to the 5th and final round of this Vintage League. I am on the precipice. I am 4-0. We got a Lurrus matchup here. The final boss is a cat. Let's see what we can do with our turn 1 protected Narset. If we get a turn 1. Could always die. Force. I see. I see. Should we probe first? I guess not, because it's our blue card for force. So, all right. I cast Black Lotus. And I cast Narset. Boom! A classic. A vintage classic. We got a Treasure Cruise pitch. So we're up against Control. I like the idea here of fetching a basic island and casting Flusterstorm on this. Because the Pyroblast can kill a frog. All right, we have a resolved Narset. I would love all of the magic cards. I guess Merchant Ancestral is probably my most likely card to take here. I guess now I could theoretically probe my opponent. I actually think I'm going to, because I want to not get Bowmastered. Psychic Frog, Urza's Saga, Dig Through Time, Mental Misstep. So if I had Pyroblasted, I would have gotten Mental Misstepped. All right, so my opponent has bad mana with their Urza Saga, a classic. A classic. Classic Urza Saga does not cast Frog. Let's activate our Narset here. Underworld Breach. Yeah. Do I win with this right now? Underworld Breach, Black Lotus. I think the answer is no. Oh, because I can't force back up. Well, I don't need force back up, though. So if I play Underworld Breach, and then I get rid of 3 cards, and I play Black Lotus, and then I cast Merchant Scroll, and there'll be 2 cards left. So I think I can't. So let's just play this Dragon Reach Channeler and get it countered. So next turn we'll win. Hopefully they just draw land, play frog. Yeah, yeah. Oh, they're not gonna play frog. Right, Sapphire, sure. Well, they drew a force, but that does not matter. Unless they drew... No, they have Dig Through Time as their last card. All right, Merchant Scroll, Brain Freeze. Yo, Winmore, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate that. That's a big high roll. That was a very large high roll. The old Lotus Narset. We're back. Unrestrict Narset. Nothing bad could happen. I don't think Narset did. I mean, Narset was a dig through. Was a stock up there. A 2-turn over 2 turns. It was a stock up. All right. So we're up against Lurrus Control. I like the idea of lightning bolts and pyroblasts and abrades. And maybe a lantern is pretty reasonable. Let's see what else we have here that I don't like. I don't like negation. Negation looks quite poor here. Don't really like shattering spree as well. Yep. I definitely want to be able to kill Bowmaster. Bowmaster seems like a pain in the butt. What is another card I'd like to cut? I guess I don't have to bring in Soul Guide Lantern. I just kind of felt like Soul Guide Lantern might be cool, but maybe we don't need it. All right, simple, very easy. One more chat. Can we 5-0? We just need to win one of the next 2 games. Doable? Possible? This looks kind of risky. No, only one tonight, I think. Sadly. I needed to start it early so I could try to get some other things done, sadly. But I will be streaming the Friday challenge with Astrologian's Planisphere, so I think this hand might be a mulligan. This Underground Sea is very sus. Very sus. It's pretty weak against Wasteland. Should mulligan this hand. This hand's a lot better. I'm gonna bottom one of the lands. All right. What do you got for me? What is it that you have? Hey, look at that. Wasteland. Got him. Another Black Lotus draw. Pretty good at this game. Maybe I should have led Island. If they're going to force this, like they might negate this. Huh. I don't think I was thinking they were going to negate this. That is pretty bad for me. I didn't think about this, and I should have. I was like, oh, I'll play the Tarn so I can end of turn fetch a Surveil land, but... I guess I'll fetch a Volcanic and Pyro this. I really don't want to lose my Lotus. I don't have to. Like, this is not necessary, but it's also like a pretty reasonable trade of resources. And if they go down on the Wasteland here, it means they're not using it to cast like a Bowmaster or something anyways. I don't need the Lotus for Breach because I do have a Petal, but I might want it in this game. Tundra, so it is Esper. And that's a Rest in Peace. All right, well, I'm going to have to Vivium. Are Our deck is not situated to play against Rest in Peace and Leyline of the Void. There's like, there should be at least like a Chain of Vapor or a Sink into Stupor in the deck list. Also, our Dragon Rage channelers are pretty much turned off here as well. So it's kind of just like Matoya, Vivi, and Prey. I don't think we're beating Rest in Peace, actually. That is one of the big concerns I have with Breach, is Breach gets pretty hammered by some of these graveyard anti-graveyard elements. We do have some outs. That is one of them. I guess we cast it, right? Well, it depends on the build, right? The Lurrus build is even worse because then the Lurrus gets turned off as well. It's not like that simple. I think you have to reevaluate it every match you play against Breach, whether or not you think that ley lines will be good. Because sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is no, and it very much vastly depends on the Breach build, right? But yeah. I'm looking for a fetch land here for a Surveil land. That is pretty good as well. I could theoretically hold that for another mana. Ooh, maybe I should have held that. I did it too quickly. Maybe I should have held this Saga until I hit another land so that I could get creatures. Yeah, that was probably a mistake. It's Bowmaster anyways. Sure it is. Sure is. This thing will block that, though. Yeah, I should have held this Saga. It was a mistake for sure. Frog. I mean, I'm going to need to draw the fetch land soon. I really messed up with the turn 1 fetch land, by the way. It was a big mistake. All right, I've drew my fetch land. So now I have to choose whether or not I need to Pyroblast this Frog. I guess this Rest in Peace turns off their Lurrus, which is nice. Or do I want to, like... I have to Pyroblast this Frog, right? I guess I can block the Frog, so I don't have to Pyroblast this Frog. Oh, I guess I can't really block. I mean, I could block this Frog. They can pitch some cards, I can Pyroblast it, right? I'm gonna see what happens. Are you gonna go? They're gonna go. 4 cards in hand? Yeah, okay, let's go. They have to pitch 3 cards to kill this thing. Okay, they're gonna do nothing. I like that play from them. It makes a lot of sense to me. I'm gonna make up constructs though. That is definitely a way I can win this game. Yes. Matoya is not a May. I'm gonna get the Ruby. And I'm just gonna hold back. Another Bowmaster? Are they activating? Okay, yeah. I kind of felt like they had another Bowmaster was my read, so this makes a lot of sense. The Rest in Peace turning off their Lurrus means they don't really have a great situation here. I don't have a Flusterstorm backup for my Pyroblast, though, so the Frog... Alright, well, I don't really want this to happen, so I guess I will counter this. I think there's a lot of value in Rest in Peace. Oh, my opponent did not realize that their Nihil Spellbomb does not trigger its death ability because there's a Rest in Peace. Unlucky. Three cards. I have double block, triple block now. I think we might win this game on the ground. Though I can't really cast spells through this double Bowmaster yet. So what the hell do I do? Maybe they'll block some like triple blocks or something. I guess I just attack with one construct. Oh. Okay. Do you not order blockers anymore? That doesn't happen? You just order damage? Okay. Pitches a spell bomb. So when is my last chance to abrade? Can I right now? Like, if I pass here, I can no longer. I mean, I can abrade this frog after, right? It'll have 2 damage on it, so it's fine, right? So if I let this go, 2 damage to this thing, 2 damage to this thing, and it has 1 life, and they can pitch 2. And I can still abrade after, right? So it's fine. I want to do 2 and 2 though. I guess this is kind of bad for me. What if I just do 3 and 1? Is that even bad for me? That's not even bad for me. Demonic Tutor. All right, I'm gonna respond to this by abrading one of the Bowmasters, and then if they have Force backup, I can fluster both. And if they don't have Force backup, I'm still gonna fluster this Demonic. My opponent should not Force here if they have a Force, because I'm very clearly with the Demonic on the stack representing a Flusterstorm blowout. So my opponent should definitely play around this, but they didn't. So same targets and then force. So now I get their Force and their Demonic with my Fluster and my Abrade Resolves. Which is just good classic vintage stack play. So now they have no cards in hand. We get to kill one of these Bowmasters. We have a Matoya and a Construct. What does this Merchant Scroll do? It's Ancestral, right? I still need to draw a removal spell. Can I afford to do like any kind of? I guess I can attack for 3 if they want to trade this. It's like super good for me, right? I guess I'm just gonna cast Merchant Scroll, and I'm just gonna take Force. Because I have a Preordain already, so I can Force pitch Dig on like a top deck from them. It doesn't really look good. Oh, they're off it. They're off it. Let's go! I kind of like how we played this whole session, honestly. Hell yeah. Boom. Vivi Matoya 5-0. Not bad. Thank you, Morsa, for the Prime. Appreciate it. And thank Crazy Diamond for this nice 5-0 list here. This was a lot of fun, honestly. I had a great time. And even though I played against Dredge twice, maybe it's because I beat Dredge twice 2-0, I thought the games versus Dredge were like, we had a couple interesting games versus Dredge, right? Because we had the one where we had to force our own spell and then Flusterstorm our own spell and then Mental Misstep our own spell. So that was pretty cool. And then we had like another one that was really close as well. So not even the worst. I would say that I still think the number one thing looking at this deck list is I'd like to have a bounce spell somewhere. Whether or not that's like the frog one. What the hell is that card called? The one that gives a frog or a fish. Into the Floodmaw. Maybe Into the Floodmaw on the sideboard. Maybe it's a Sink into Stupor in the main. Maybe it's a Chain of Vapor. Something to... I want to have an answer to like a Leyline of the Void or a Rest in Peace or something like that. Obviously, we can win through a Leyline. We can make Construct tokens. We can have a Vivi. We have Matoya. But, like, it's really hard. I think we got fairly lucky based on the way my opponent's draws lined up in that game to be able to win through their Rest in Peace. So, I would say like a chain or a sink into stupor or something that makes a lot of sense here. For the rest of the deck list, I thought it was pretty good. We had enough answers here for mono white. Maybe you need a couple more. I mean, you have 3 lightning bolts, 2 rending volleys, shattering sprees, probably 2 abrades. Yeah, I mean, this is probably a pretty reasonable setup against mono white. Obviously, we have a bunch of counter spells against PO, enough to probably get us by. I like it. It was fun. I had a good time. I'm not normally a Breach gamer, but I think Dragon's Rage Channeler I do enjoy a lot. So Dragon Rage Channeler Breach is a nice little thing. And then, of course, when we had the Dragon Rage Channeler Matoya going, it was actually quite strong. I wonder if this deck wants an additional Surveil land for your Matoyas. I think the answer to that question is likely to be yes. I don't exactly know where you fit that in the whole grand scheme of things here. Maybe you play like 1 less Volcanic and you play another Surveil land or something. But I would like to maybe have a second fetchable Surveil land for Matoya. Vivi was good the one time we had Vivi going as well, so not bad. Pretty cool 5-0. Thank you for watching. There will be more Final Fantasy videos coming every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you then.